Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of A Short View Back to the Podcast. I am Jordan.
And I am Matt.
And as always, we are not sponsored by Heineken. Right, testing is back. Well, it's not testing as such. It's not.
What, you mean the private shakedown, which weren't private because all the teens were posting about it, and even the Formula One page was posting about it.
Yeah, the private test, that wasn't a private test.
Yeah.
So, but to be fair, we got some nice little videos as well. We got to see some of our cars and some of our favourite drivers on the track.
We did.
It was jam-packed full of action. Some very interesting thoughts. Now, bear in mind, we can't really go off this by gospel as well, and like for many reasons. But shall we start on day one? Testing.
You can't, I haven't gone by days. I've literally just got the information in front of me. But yeah, go by day one.
Okay, well, so just some of the the key points that I've sort of made.
Yeah.
Red Bull showing up completely.
Yeah.
With their new undercut side pods.
Yes.
That wasn't painted.
That weren't painted.
And
no.
everyone seemed to kick a bit of a frenzy on social media.
They
about.
did. Yeah.
But that seemed...
One of the comments I read was Red Bull were cheating again. Slowly bangs head against the
Shut up. Okay. So we did that. It was quite actually interesting to see some of the cars. I know Max Verstappen said that the Red Bull car that they saw earlier will not be the one that we see in Bahrain.
Yeah.
Well, naturally so. It's what's called testing.
Yeah.
Again, so Ferrari, Aston Martin, and Alpine sort of had these sort of cheese gratery sort of bits.
Yes.
Very weird looking cheese graters, I must admit. But,
No, I reckon they'll be important.
Yeah. As well, so the main thing that everyone was sort of saying that same day was the cars appear slow. The 2022 cars appear slower. Well, of course they do.
Well, I think we've got... Right, it's a mixture of things. We've got the same old fans that believe the same old stuff every single year.
Yes.
And we've got a load of new fans as well. F1 testing, it's in the name.
It's a
testing.
test.
They're not going low fuel, qualifying laps, Q3, or even like race pace. They're testing the car. So
it's a brand new car as well.
Yeah, they need to learn the data, learn how it drives, everything like that. There's a term, sandbagging.
Yep.
Which you'll hear a lot of in the...
Ted Kravitz, here we go.
Yep. So, of course, the cars are slower. Or seem slower.
They're not sending it.
No, exactly.
They're not sending it. So this data really, it's still nothing really to kind of go off.
No.
Even the official test in Bahrain that will be on the TV in 2 weeks' time.
Yep.
Even that will not be accurate data.
Exactly.
It's they're not going to give it all away. But on that day, it's worth mentioning, Lando Norris scored the fastest lap time of a 1.19.568 on the C4 compound tyres. That's important to mention. Different tyre compounds.
Yes.
Completely different. The engineers don't know how much power to give the cars either. It's very much like that. Everything was actually quite reliable. Because last time we had a regulation, 2014, everything broke down.
Yes.
That's why they do private testing, so no one looks like a bit of a shambles.
Yeah.
Reliable. I think Verstappen did the most laps that day. He did about 147, I believe. And typically speaking, has had problems, and there was no red flags. That was day one. Have you got the data that you like to sort of share? If you've got them by day, or have you just got them by overall?
No, I've literally just got everything overall.
And everything overall.
Yeah. So you go down by the days, and I'll just do the overall.
Cool. Day two. Leclerc was the fastest.
Yep.
On the he did a 19.689, which is actually slower than Lando, or what he did the day beforehand. However, they were on different tyre compounds. Leclerc was on the C3 tyre.
C3, yep.
I believe that's one of the harder compounds.
I think it's...
C5 is soft... Oh, I don't know. I think, C5 compound is the softest.
Yeah. Yeah, C5 softest, C1 is the hardest.
Yeah.
And then they've got two separate ones for the wet and inter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did that... What we saw in day two was the return of porpoising.
Yes.
For those of you who don't know, and I'll try my best to explain it.
Can I explain it?
Oh, I want to explain. I'll let you explain it. Go on then.
Basically, it's the car doing the belly dance along the straight.
That's exactly it, pretty much. Like that. That's it. If you want the aerodynamic term, because we've got the return of ground effect aerodynamics, so essentially, the speed and the downforce suck the car downwards, so it reduces the ride height, and then a ride height at max speed, the airflow will separate. Which then reduces the downforce, but then because of the new ground effect aerodynamics, it makes the car bounce.
Yeah.
It's just fighting with itself, basically. Mattia Bonotto said that everyone had underrated it, as badly as they sort of did. I think Mercedes had some very bad porpoising, but Ferrari were definitely the worst. He was going, everyone's underrated this.
Yeah.
I think you have, where's Wally, quite frankly.
Yeah.
So, we could actually see that on the track. We had that discussion on the car. I suppose there's
yeah.
that. I mean, that'd be funny to see. Just
Yeah, but
imagine they all aerodynamically fail.
Two cars going to overtake each other on the track, and they're just going. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. We had the first red flag as well for this session. Checo.
Yes, because he broke down, didn't he?
He did. We had a second red flag for Mazepin.
Yep.
Haas, though, however, they had a fairly successful day because both drivers scored 100. Well, not scored. They managed to do about 100 laps each.
Yeah.
And then,
which ain't bad going.
No.
Yeah.
Alfa Romeo had a bit of one there. He did 21 laps. So I don't really know what sort of happened there. Day 3, I'm not going to read this, but we know what's happened here. We don't need to go through that. First red flag of the day, Alonso.
Yeah, because his car caught fire, didn't it?
Yes, it was a hydraulic piping. There was a split in it, and it caused the car to caught fire. So it was only a minor issue. Yep. Didn't seem very minor-y to me. No. So Gasly had a crash. Guan Yu Zhou spun twice.
Yes.
And beaching the car. And then Sebastian Vettel had an oil leak.
We saw the return of Fireman Seb.
Yes, we did indeed. I think that was brilliant. Ladies, find yourself a man who looks after you the same way Seb looks after his cars.
Yeah.
Haas retired because there was some oil leaks and water pump issues with that. They tested out the wet weather tyres because they got some water lorries.
Yeah, they got water lorries. I saw the pictures of that.
They didn't really do too much good.
No.
When the track dried, they were just going straight back onto the soft compound tyres. And then shock horror. This day we saw a Mercedes 1-2 in terms of fastest time. Lewis got the fastest time of that day, which was a 1.19.138 on the C5 compound, which was the softest. George Russell says that Ferrari and McLaren look competitive.
They do. Well, no, what he said was there's a orange and red car that seemed to be very fast or something along them lines.
So that'd be sort of it. I think no one's really kind of getting their own sort of getting the trousers off too much, really, are they? It's a foreplay, as I like to call it. It's a bit of teasing,
Yeah.
It's a bit of a hand holding at the bar.
It is.
That's all it is there. So
because we're gonna go into the normal testing, and we're gonna see Haas obliterate everyone.
Yes, let's hope so. Depending on the news, but yeah. So what's the data that you got?
No, right, but I'm just gonna say So the overall, out of the 3 days, Mercedes did 392 laps. Fastest of which was Lewis Hamilton, like you said, did a 1:19.138. Red Bull did a total of 358 laps. The fastest lap was Perez, not Verstappen, with a 1:19.556.
So we're saying Tsunoda to replace Verstappen at Red Bull?
Yeah. McLaren did a total of 365 laps. Who do you think the fastest driver was?
Lando.
Lando Norris, yes, with a 1:19.568. Ferrari did a total of 439 laps. Fastest driver? Leclerc with a 1:19.689. Aston Martin did a total of 295 laps. Fastest driver?
That was Vettel.
That was Vettel with a 1:19.824.
It's not too bad.
AlphaTauri did a total of 308 laps. Fastest driver?
Gaza.
1:19.918. Williams did a total of 347 laps. Fastest driver?
Is that the Latifi?
It was Albon.
Was it?
Yeah, with a 1 minute 20.318.
Mm-hmm.
Alpine, 264 laps completed. Fastest driver?
Alpine?
Yep.
Alonso
with a 1 minute 21.242.
Mm-hmm.
Haas, 160 laps completed.
That's pretty good for them.
Yeah, pretty good. Fastest driver?
Oh, it was Mazepin.
It was Mazepin with a 1 minute 21.512. Alfa Romeo did a total of 175 laps. Fastest driver?
Bottas.
It was Guan Yu Zhou.
Was it Zhou?
It was Zhou. 1 minute 21.885. And yeah, that's all the teams. Like I said, you can't really take anything from it.
Not really, no.
But it's good to see him back on track.
Yeah.
It's good to see deliveries we rated.
They look so much better
on track.
Oh, wow. Like, I almost want to take back everything bad I said about the McLaren.
Yeah.
You can actually insert a clip here where I'm actually completely slandering it, to be honest.
Yeah.
I might actually do that myself. But they did. So, yeah, I mean, to be fair, though, all the drivers seem fairly positive about the testing as well.
Yeah.
No one's come out and said it's a disaster. Danny Rick says McLaren executed a pretty flawless preseason program in Spain. What else we got here? Alonso believes Alpine have made a step forward with new PU after Barcelona running. It's all part of the plan.
Yep.
Verstappen says the Red Bull RB18 will be completely different for Bahrain's official preseason test. Of course it will be.
Mm-hmm.
Valtteri Bottas believes he can be his best self at Alfa Romeo.
I read that, yeah.
That's pretty good. Hamilton calls the 2022 preseason most exciting and interesting he's experienced. That's it. So I think even Gasly said that he felt positive as well. So
yeah. The only thing I would change is, can we stop doing testing at Spain?
Yeah, where would you test then?
Portimao.
We actually had a conversation about this. I think when we actually first got together to do this podcast,
yeah.
We were going to do an episode on should they do testing at a grid we're actually not on. Let's go into that, shall we? While we're here.
Yeah. So, all right. When we were discussing about starting this podcast, we met up in a pub.
Drank Heineken.
No, we drank Tangos.
Oh.
Anyway, yeah, we were drinking, getting all the topics we were going to discuss, and one of the topics was, should F1 do their testing at a track that is currently on the F1 calendar to race at?
I'd never even thought about it until you mentioned it to me.
Yeah. So the theory is, they're doing all their testing at Spain and Bahrain,
yep,
which is currently 2 tracks that are on the F1 calendar. Obviously, does that give advantage to? I know all the teams are doing testing. I know that. But does it give advantage to some more teams that are like more advanced and can like take the data they take from the testing and put it? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whereas if they did the testing, so let's say we've got the 2022 calendar, got all the 23 races. Let's do the testing at Brands Hatch.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Will it be big enough for Formula 1 cars?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, actually, I don't know.
Well, I mean, you don't get many out at a time, though, do you? So
no. What other track we could do, though? Right, no.
Maybe a track that's not on the current calendar, but was on last year's, perhaps.
Let's do the testing, because I know this track ain't on the calendar, in Malaysia. Because that is big enough for Formula 1 cars, because we've raced there.
Yeah. True. I think, though, the only other thing is, though, all the teams are pretty much based in Europe, apart from Haas, who are an American team, but who are actually based in Banbury.
Yeah.
So doing it in somewhere like Spain, well, it is actually pretty much the halfway point for everyone, I suppose.
Okay, fuck it. We'll do the test in Mugello. In Italy.
Ooh.
Love that track. One of my most favourite tracks I play on Forza.
Yeah.
It's a bit more out than Spain, but it's a track we don't race on.
I'm going to go one further than that.
Okay.
Let's do Formula 1 cars at the Nürburgring.
At the Nürburgring, yeah.
Or, and I'm on about the full-on green hell.
Oh, are you?
I'm on about, no, we couldn't do it. They ran out of petrol halfway through. That wouldn't work. Or, I said, that'd be interesting, because it looked really, really great last year when I was watching it. Why not
Le
do a
Mans?
bit? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
what do
Le
you
Mans.
mean? Yeah.
Because how great that Alpine looked going
Yeah.
down to that Alonso drive.
Yeah.
Fantastic, right? So I think you could do that. You need to shut all the roads in France. It's going to piss the French off. I'm not really too fussed about that, to be honest. Yeah, I think do that. I can see where you come from. Also saying that, Le Mans, you've got that fucking mile straight that goes for miles and miles and miles. You'll get all the data that you need there. And you got the turns. There's obviously going to be some sort of logistical reason why they sort of can't, but as well. But then also saying that, the media days, like when they do the liveries, then the next day they're all at Silverstone.
Yeah.
With that logic as well, doesn't that maybe give all the teams maybe an unfair advantage towards Silverstone? Apart from Ferrari, who test at or wherever they go to.
Yeah.
Well, they've got their own private testing track, haven't they?
They have, yeah.
So surely that gives Aston, that gives
Aston, Red Bull,
Alpine,
Williams.
Haas. I don't even think Haas can afford to run the testing, can they? The Williams,
McLaren.
Yes. So you've got 6 teams on the grid who've technically got an unfair advantage for Silverstone. Maybe make them do it at Brands Hatch.
Yeah.
Historical. But then it must be something like the Silverstone contract.
Donington's Simply Sausages.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think then when we get to the tracks we are racing in, you haven't got the data for that track. Like, you haven't gone, right, in testing with this fuel run and this tyre thing, we'll do this. So if we calculate it, we'll be like this. Yeah, I just think, one, I'm bored of seeing testing in Spain.
Well, to be fair, we didn't see it in Spain because it was private, but it wasn't really that private.
Yeah, exactly.
It was all on Instagram.
Yeah, pretty much. I think, where was the Jerez? Is that how you say it? Jerez? This was years ago. This was like in 2013 or 2012. They did testing there. But yeah, I just want to see a different track than Spain.
Different track.
And Bahrain.
Yeah.
Like Bahrain, like I said, I like Bahrain for the racing, but testing, like, come on, let's just go somewhere. Yeah.
I can see your point on that. I mean, probably all the engineers, if any of them listen, still going, "No, you idiot! Stop! Don't give them ideas. It's easy. We can leave all the shit over there." All that.
Yeah.
But maybe I do agree. Yeah, just bring fairer racing.
I see why they are doing it in Bahrain.
I see why as well. They just leave it all packed down.
Yeah, it's the first race. I get that.
Maybe they should only be allowed to do 1 day of testing in Bahrain.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 1 day of testing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that makes it a little bit fairer. They get the best of both worlds. Then we could do it somewhere in sort of Central Europe. I think, probably the Nürburgring. I think that'd probably be the best one to sort of do.
Yeah. Well, it could be any of the. It can either be Nürburgring or the. Oh, I've forgotten what the other one's called.
What, Le Mans?
No, not Le Mans. The other German track.
Oh, what, not the Nordschleife.
No,
that is the Nürburgring.
That is Nürburgring.
Do you mean
It begins with H. I know it begins with H.
Hockenheim?
Hockenheim. That's it. Hockenheim. Yeah.
But we've got Hockenheim on the calendar, though, haven't we?
No, we ain't.
But we're racing in Germany this year.
Nope.
But we're racing this year.
I swear we're not.
I'm fairly certain we're in Hockenheim.
I'm pretty sure Germany weren't on the calendar.
We haven't got a German Grand Prix. You're right. We don't have a German Grand Prix.
Yeah.
God, I bet Sebastian's livid.
I know.
Right, we'll bring back Hockenheim then, actually. Why didn't we mention this on the podcast, Yeah, I think, to be fair, I think if any... Actually, right. If they don't have a race there this year, I'm not sure what people's contracts are. Yeah. Then they sort of go, right, well, we can't have a race here this year, but we'll do the full pre-season testing there. Yeah. And then whoever the first race is in that next year, they do testing. Yeah. But it's 1 day.
Yes, 1 day.
1 day of testing. 1 day, 1 afternoon. God, I bet they'll be cowering in their boots.
Make it even harder. 1 day, 1 driver.
Oh, no, you can't. That's too hard. Too hard. I like where you're going with it.
For too
it's
hard.
a bit Bernie Eccleston, that. That's very Bernie, So they just put a sprinkler at the end of the corner and see what happens.
Yeah.
That'd be good. That would be good indeed. But yeah, so all the people as well who are saying, oh, the cars are so slow, they're not sending it because they don't know how to fully send it.
Yeah.
They need the confidence to send it.
Exactly.
I mean, actually, that's why I'm not surprised why Guan Yu Zhou did the faster lap time at Alpha.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's more F2-y.
Yeah.
So I wonder how Kimi would have got on with this.
Huh?
Oh, I wonder how Kimi would have got on.
He wouldn't have showed up, would he? Yeah, it's just testing.
Testing and all of that, and I wanted, and the drink was not connected,
But yeah, that was the testing.
It was.
That was.
Well, thank you very much. Right, and we will be back in a couple of weeks' time while we'll be doing our Bahrain testing rundown.
We will.
Well,
yes.
We'll be pretty much saying exactly the same thing.
They're sandbagging. You can't take anything from this.
But we'll be doing it anyway because, well, why not? But that means we've got about 3 weeks till race week, or raw seek, as Ferrari would call it.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
We're nearly there, or depending on when this actually goes out. We might be 1 week away.
Yes.
This might be the day before. This might be the day before it comes out. But we are nearly at race week.
But just get ready for more exciting content. More content.
We will be here.
Get people to like, comment, and subscribe. Get
Share.
Heineken to sponsor us.
Yep. Get Heineken to give some press passes for a couple of races.
Yep. And look out for the content.
Well, thank you very much.
This has been a short view back to the podcast.